Welcome to the Coin and Key Collective, where we explore crypto and real estate. Thank you for joining us. Please like this video and subscribe to help the algorithm. We have some upcoming guests. Alex McWhirter has been threatening to jump on the stream with us. He has our calendar invite. Funding Jim as well. And just recently, Klaus Sconning with Sconning. I hope I'm pronouncing that right. Doesn't matter. With DigiShares, which is building bridges between TradFi and blockchain technology. We'll be interviewing him in early September. But today we have Serena Anderson with us. She is with PadShare. It's PadShare, correct? Not PadSplit.
It's Pad Split. Yeah,
It
that's the
is Pad.
company we
Okay.
work with. And then my company is Royal Realty Vegas. Yeah.
Right. Okay. And she is going to describe to us how to essentially maximize rents from, for example, like a 4-bedroom house. Instead of getting $1,000 a month rent, you can do some modifications to the interior and perhaps get $1,000 per bedroom for a total of $4,000 per month. So we're looking forward to seeing what you have to share with us today, Serena.
Awesome. I'm looking forward to sharing.
All right. Go ahead and when you're ready, share your screen. There we go. Serena, before we begin, how about you give like an introduction about yourself, your background and such?
Sure. All right. So my name is Serena Anderson. I am in real estate, been in real estate for about 9 years now. Became a broker in Montana and then came down here to Nevada. Also became a broker down here. One of the things that we are really hyper focused on is helping investors to 2 to 3x their monthly rental income, to help people to be able to retire comfortably. And we are really focused on the pad split model, which is doing midterm rentals and being able to really live well with this type of real estate investment. And best of all, it's a win-win situation because there is a dire housing crisis going on, not only for the working class citizens, but also for seniors and veterans in our community. So super excited to be working on this project. It's a heart warmer for sure, and excited to share.
Now, PadSplit it's a company, correct? And you're essentially a representative of that company.
So PadSplit is a is a company, yes, and I work with them as a third party company.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Mandisa is who is the local pad split representative who we work with. And I am a broker in real estate. So we help find the properties and be able to get to closing and help with the construction if need be and the furnishing of these properties and possible management. And so Pad Split and myself are two separate entities.
All right. Perfect. Let's go. I'm excited to see this.
All right. Let's do it. Okay, let me get over to my screen here. All right, so basically this has been broken down into a 7-step process. We're just going to be hitting on a few of these just to keep this short and sweet. And if anyone is interested in more of the details, we will have another webinar that will be available, or we can also set up a one-on-one Zoom to go over it in more detail. But let's just get right into what the strategy is. And first of all, this is Mandisa that you see on the screen right now. She is with Pad Split, and her and I work really closely together to be able to help investors do the Pad Split model. So essentially what it is Pad Split came up with another way to do rentals. And that is to, instead of just renting out to a single family for one house, this is being rented out to multiple people, but instead by the whole house, by the room. So as you can see, taking like a regular 4-bedroom house here, And after the modifications would be to turn those underutilized spaces into housing potential. So turning, say, that big bedroom that's bedroom number 4 right here into 2 rooms, turning the living room into a bedroom, dining room into a bedroom, and therefore being able to create more living space potential for folks to be able to rent out. So we'll break down what that actually looks like. So in Vegas, rooms rent for around 2 to 250 a week. And so let's just be conservative and just say there's 7 rooms, and let's just take an average of 225. That's about 1575 a week for those 7 rooms. And for the full month, that would be roughly around $6,300 monthly gross coming in for that property. Now, if you're just to rent out that property, you might be at like $2,000 a month. So this is definitely a way to bring in a lot more income. So let's look at an example here. If a property was purchased for $350,000, the down payment would roughly be around, say, $70,000. That's about 20% down. Your principal and interest, roughly around $2,100 a month. Taxes and insurance, an additional $250. So that's about $2,350 a month for the mortgage payment. Renovations could be anywhere from $20,000 to $40,000, depending if we're just putting up walls for those added rooms, or for adding an additional bathroom, whatever the case may be. That's pretty much the range that it's usually in. The monthly expenses would be internet, utilities, a cleaning fee, some pest control, the pad split fee, camera monitoring, property management, and that's going to be around roughly $2,100. So when you add those together, what is the net going to be? Well, if we're looking again at the 7 rooms at $6,300 a month in income, and expenses being around $4,495, let's just say $4,500, the net profit is $1,800, $2,700 for 8 rooms, $3,600 for 9 rooms. So you can really see how you can really make some good profits by adding several of these types of homes to your portfolio as an investor, and actually make the needle move. Traditionally, when someone rents out just a regular single family home to one family, they may make a couple $100s net. And if you have any types of repairs, well, you might not be making any profits for that month or several months to come. So this is really nice. Pad split is across the country. They started out in Atlanta in 2018, and now they have expanded to several other cities. They are nationwide, but this is where they have dedicated reps. Pad split has done some research, and there are 14 million people that are making less than $35,000 a year. So we can clearly see that there is a need for affordable housing. And in most cases, people need to show 3 times the monthly rent to be able to qualify for a rental. So there's a lot of people that just are not able to afford the prices and what it takes to get into a rental. Pad Split is really amazing because they are an online platform that handles not only filling the rooms, but vetting these what they call members, the background check, the verification of employment and income, and going over the rules of staying in these properties. And they handle the marketing, the member screening, member management, the payment collection, the onboarding. All of that is taken care of by them, which is really nice. It's a big bulk of the work that it takes to operate one of these. The responsibilities as a host and with pad split, this kind of breaks down in more detail what pad split does, what the hosts are responsible for. In general, just to summarize, pad split is responsible for all the member side of things. The person that owns the property or the host, they're responsible. Like if the AC goes out, they need to get someone to get out there. So that's why a property manager fits that. So this could be all like entirely hands off if someone wanted it to be, or they could be semi involved with pad split on their side. I'm not going to go into every single detail on this because we only have so much time today. But like I said, I'm very open to doing a one-on-one, or you can come to one of our Zooms where we actually have several different speakers on and talking about it in more depth. As far as the loan and the money side of things, there's an actual pad split loan that's been created, where you don't need any income documentations. Your credit score needs to be 650 or more. You can do 1 to 4 units. It's investment properties only. So you don't have to show any income. You just need the down payment and a good credit score, and you could have yourself one of these. There are the bank statement loans, DSCR loans that other investors are using to get these properties. The fix and hold option is another one. You can actually get your renovation costs financed into the loan, which is fantastic. But let's talk a little bit about the property here. What do we want? Well, you can convert one that you already have. That's perfectly fine. Or we need to find you a new one. So buy boxes, usually BC neighborhoods, 3 bedrooms, 2.5 baths, 4 bedrooms, 2.5 baths. It is ideal to have about 1 bathroom to every 3 rooms. It's not required, but it's ideal, especially to keep people staying there, keep the complaints low. And a corner house is ideal, but it's not. It doesn't have to be. It just gives more parking alternatives. We don't want any HOA. We don't. We want to be close to employment and bus stops. And the home needs to be big enough to be able to make some of these conversions. So I've seen people do them as small as 1,200 square feet houses. Obviously, you're not going to get 8 bedrooms out of that, but usually I think around 1,500 to 1,600 and more is a more ideal spot to be in. As far as parking, they want to have 2 parking spots in the driveway and then at least 2 in front of the house. But you don't want to be buying a house that has maybe like the fire hydrant right in front of the house, or a mailbox right in front of the house. So we look for some specific things while we're looking. It's important to find someone like a realtor that knows what they're talking about, what they're looking for, that they understand what you're trying to accomplish. So what I tell all my investors, whether you're looking at doing this in Florida or here in Las Vegas, reach out to me so I can make sure that we get you the right realtor that understands this model. There is more steps involved in the due diligence process to ensure that we're making a wise decision here. So I'm going to go ahead and stop there, because I know we didn't want this to be super long. So I just want to kind of see if there was any questions that you might have from the material that was presented.
I do. But ladies first. Stephanie, you have any questions?
I do. What, for people who do the renovations to their properties or purchase properties like this, when they want to exit out of that home, what is the resale value? Do you find that it boosts resale value or diminishes? I guess it would be based on the buyer.
Yeah, it definitely depends on the buyer. Some people are actually creating these and then reselling them to people that want to operate them. So in that case, it's definitely a win-win. And ideally, that would be the direction that someone would go. I think that would be the highest best use, is to sell it to someone else that wants that cash flow coming through. Then the other alternative is to convert it back to what it was before. Tear down those walls and have that living room open back up, that dining room open back up. So it just kind of depends. A good thing is it's not as expensive to take walls down
as they are
than it is to put them up.
yeah. And so it's kind of like a hostel style living environment.
It's kind of sort of like that. Just nicer, like more secure, more geared towards a different demographic, but somewhat similar.
Is it tough to find renter? Like, it's probably not hard to find people to rent the rooms, but is it tough to like pair them well? Because if you're having like 5 or 6 rooms with 5 or 6 different people don't always jive, right? And does that pose any challenges?
Well, the way that these houses are set up is that it's not, the people aren't really just like hanging out, like making friends with each other. These people are working 1 to 3 jobs. Some of them are working 1 to 2 jobs and going back to college. There's no living room where there's like couches and like let's just hang out. And
rental, not like a short term.
It's midterm. So they sign initially a 31-day contract, and then it can go week to week after that. Depending on their pay, they can pay whenever they want. Pad Split's super flexible on that. So they could pay like every week. They could pay every 2 weeks. But they can move. So if there's another Pad Split that opens up, maybe closer to their job, they could easily relocate to that other Pad Split. But yeah, so mostly these people, they might get to know one another. In one of the houses here in Las Vegas, they actually even eat together, which is pretty uncommon. That's like a rarity. Most of these people, they don't really hang out and do stuff. They're on the go. They're just trying to make ends meet. So not as much of the hanging out and needing to like match personalities as much.
Interesting. And how do you protect your clients' investments when like payments an issue? If these people are trying to make ends meet, what happens when people can't afford to pay the rent and that sort of thing?
Yeah. So Pad Split has a pretty well-defined plan of action for those situations. They have the hard talk and the hard way to go talks with them. Pad Split has attorneys that have put together the protocol on how to handle that. One of the things that they have in place is a 3-key system. A key basically is warnings. So if there are complaints or issues and it builds up to losing your keys, you have 3 of them and then you're going to have to go. It's very clearly outlined what the rules are for those houses. There's no guests allowed. There's no couples allowed, no overnights allowed. So if those rules are broken, they will get their keys removed, and then they will have to leave because they will be violating. If it gets to the point where someone chooses the hard route and they want an eviction on their record and they want to be completely banned from Pad Split, then there is an eviction process, and it's about $250, and they work with a national lawyer firm that will get it taken care of for a couple $100 and have to get them evicted out. But most people so far are not going that route. They are like, okay, I need to leave. I will have an eviction on my record if I don't leave. So Pad Split does help with all of that facilitating and helping the host in those situations. So that's really nice to have that backing as well.
So do you have like a criteria for screening? And can you change, like, if I had this property, can I have a different criteria on the people renting as maybe this property, or is that a pad split thing?
Well, there is the fair housing, so there are the laws that have to be taken into account. There are some situations where some hosts have said, I just want this to be a seniors home. So they've done like a Golden Girls house or a Sassy Seniors type of housing, which has been pretty cool. But it's a little bit hard to, it depends on how that criteria is being set up. But for the most part, it's, do they have a job? Do they have income coming in? What's their background check coming back as? We don't want anybody that has some severe items on there. So it kind of depends.
Interesting.
So clearly these are, the best neighborhoods to probably put these in are, like you said, B or C neighborhoods. And I'm wondering, because this reminds me of Airbnb vacation rental, makes me think of those type of investments. Whereas I see vacation rentals being more accepted by the community and the neighborhood, I would see these as being perhaps less accepted. So are we seeing any pushback on these types of investments where you have, multiple tenants? What kind of restrictions are we seeing?
Yeah, so it can actually be the alternative, because these folks aren't just here for a quick party over the weekend. There's not,
True.
4 or 5 buddies all flying in to party like rock stars for the weekend. It's, these people are in some cases surviving. This is their home. That they don't have many other options. And so the way that the onboarding happens is that's the tone and the culture and the rules, and it's that this is their home, and that we want to be the best house on the block. We want it to be the best looking house on the block. So there is a certain standard of what we want these houses to look like, and not only look like, but the people that are there. So if there are any troublemakers or anything like that, they're gonna be removed, because this is for people that are going to be respectful of the neighborhood, of the home. Otherwise they won't be able to stay.
So how would that work from like a zoning perspective, just from a purchasing perspective? Obviously you need to have the right type of house. Most single family houses, you can find the zoning to have an upstairs and a downstairs, like a secondary suite. When you're putting 4 to 7 rooms in a house, renting to 4 to 7 different people, does that affect your zoning? Because it's now 4 suites. You'd call them suites, like bedrooms, but still suites, because it's 4 different tenants. Does that change zoning issues or create issues within neighborhoods and zoning?
So the short answer is it could, depending on location. Each of those rules are by territory, by city, and so it really depends. So what Pad Split has done is they've put a huge amount of money and resources into doing the research in the zoning laws, looking at the holes in the zoning laws, and that the attorneys had to feel that they had a very strong, justifiable way to uphold this sort of operation in any of these jurisdictions. And the other thing that they've done is that the way that it's set up is each house has an LLC. And these members are becoming a member of the LLC. They're a non-monetized member of the LLC, but they're part of the LLC. So in the eyes of the law, it's shown as one entity.
Right.
So that's the way that they have gotten around that. And then they won't enter into any markets where they don't feel that they have a strong case to hold up in that. And any of the ones that they have had and that they have actually fought, they've won. And that's the other thing that they also back for all the hosts is if there's any issue with that specific item, they will go to bat. They will do all the attorney's fees. They will fight it tooth and nail.
Interesting. Yeah, up here in Canada, it's tough enough to find a house that you can live in, rent your lower suite, and then maybe have a third suite for Airbnbs. So something like this would be near impossible in most large cities without having like a medium density zoning, which would be like town, like it would just be really tough to make a single house into this. So I was curious to, but I mean, every state's different, every province is different, every municipality is going to be different.
Yeah.
Is Pad Split looking to expand into, say, Canada?
I don't think that's on their horizons at this time. They're mostly focused on the US.
Sure.
Yeah, they recently launched Miami and they were in the Carolinas, but they're really focused on getting the markets that they're currently in with salaried employees, boots on the ground, getting all those off the ground more.
Wow. Cool. Stephanie, do you have any other questions?
I have like so many questions, but not useful for this conversation.
Yeah, this has been great, Serena. This is good stuff. So what are we overlooking? What questions should we be asking?
I would say what's your risk tolerance as an investor? What's your ultimate goal and objective in 5 years? With a lot of investing options, things are usually long term. And if it's short term, the risk is extremely high. So ultimately, for somebody that wants to do something like this, you don't need to be extremely risk adverse. Is kind of the middle of the road. This is great for anyone that is wanting to retire, semi-retire, still have something to do with their time, or be completely hands off. But ultimately, really assess where's your risk tolerance and what are you willing to do to have more freedom in your life? What are you willing to do to really safely be able to retire? And at what age do you want to retire? So for me personally, this is like my pinpoint focus is, I don't want to work forever. Yeah, I don't want to just make a couple $100 on a regular rental.
Yeah.
I have money in crypto, which is great too, but I don't want to have all my resources there.
Right.
401k doesn't really make much money, but so I think just getting really, really, really honest with oneself and breaking down the numbers, and then reach out to me, and then let's have a real conversation together.
Right.
Yeah.
I like that there's a team behind this, like a company, if you will, that you can reach out to any, if you have any questions or issues. So
definitely. Absolutely. Yep. And I'd be happy too if viewers want, or you guys want, we can do another one of these in the future and have Mandisa come on and talk about it some more from her perspective, or we can talk about like the latest, challenges and opportunities with it, or even look at actual real dashboards of money that's coming in from a real host and what that looks like. We can look at the complaints in live format.
That'd be great. That'd be cool.
I'd love to see like what the properties, like some examples of properties that are doing this with, and not just floor plans, right? It's hard for people to like feel a space just from that eagle view.
Yep. We have a Matterport that does give kind of that virtual walkthrough. And then of course there's photos on padsplit.com where you can go and look at the houses that are currently available. But nothing really beats like being inside of one.
Oh,
Mm.
for sure. Those Matterports, though, those are great. Those you can at least like travel through and feel the space a little
Yeah.
bit.
Yeah, so I'll get that and I can send it to you, and we can even put it below this video if anyone else wants to check it out as well.
Yeah.
Yep. Awesome. So like nearing the top of the next crypto bull run, which is probably going to be the next few years, we need to have you on again, because my crypto buddies and myself are perhaps going to be looking for a more stable asset class to rotate, crypto gains into.
Yeah.
So we'll plan for that. Go ahead and give everybody your contact information.
Okay, my email address, serena@royalrealtyvegas.com. Phone number 725-333-5694. Also, feel free to check out the website. It breaks down some of these numbers and things that I talked about today on royalrealtyvegas.com. And yeah, look forward to touching base with anyone that would like to talk about it more details, more questions. I'm happy to help.
Yeah. Awesome. Thanks so much for joining us. This is really good. This is going to be like an evergreen video I can refer people to in the future. So yeah. So as a reminder, Funding Gym upcoming, Klaus Sconning with Digis Shares, Alex McWhirter. Like and subscribe to this video. And you can find ways to connect to Serena also in the description, ways to link to our Telegram group for any questions we didn't answer in the chat, and link to our Aurox wallet, which we like as an alternative to MetaMask, link to a Treasure wallet if you don't already have one. And if you are new to crypto or new to the Pulse Chain ecosystem, you can set up a one-on-one meeting with me. Thanks again for joining us. Talk soon. Bye.
Bye, Eric.